Bastl's got a new Kastle. This one, the Alchemist. Come on, let's jam a little bit. Alchemist is a synth. It shares a lot of things from the other Kastles. Very close to the wavebard, except instead of samples, this is synthesis. Alchemist has 5 synth modes: filter, FM, supersaw, hypersine, and glitch noise. Each of the modes have a range of timbres that you can change with the timbre knob. But there's also a timbre mod with an attenuator, great for using an LFO or envelope to do typical synth stuff. There's also a ratio parameter that you can access by holding shift, and that's further refinement for the synth modes. Things like mixing oscillators, detune, depth of phase modulation, and low-pass filtering. Alchemist is incredibly capable of making all sorts of melodies. That's because there's a built-in quantizer. You can choose a scale and a root. Then both the pitch and pitch mod go right through the quantizer, so they easily become controls you can use for quite a lot of intention while jamming, or just to dial in that exact melody flavor you're looking for. The inputs for the pitch mod bring about additional opportunities too. Note inputs have a sample and hold function, so the notes only change when the trig input gets a trigger. And the play inputs shift by thirds, fifths, or octaves, and trigger on note change. You can make some really interesting sequences far outside the typical ARPs on classic synths. This kind of melodic control means you can bounce back and forth between timbral and melodic fun, and it doesn't really get old. There's also more effects than there were before, with distortion and a resonant comb filter joining the delay, chorus, and flanger. And there's a new control for slew or gliding notes too. If you want to get glitchy, you can still modulate the synth mode like other Kastles, making the sequence that you have really sound like more elements than just one synth. So the range of sounds that can come out of this thing are pretty wide, from pretty chill, ambient sounding light stuff to aggressive and hard. Kind of incredible. Something to keep in mind was that was all on Alchemist. That's including the delay. I've been looking forward to a Kastle that's a synth voice, and this is it. Let's see how I might use it with some of my other gear. You might have drum machines. I have this modular groove box. Let's go. All the synth sounds here are coming from Alchemist. Drum stuff is all in the modular. And then I'm actually mixing on Alchemist, sending a stereo out from the case into the input here. Then I'm just balancing the input and output levels on Kastle. Works pretty well. I could probably go on and on, but hey, I'll stop there. There's a lot going on for something that occupies less desk space than a phone. buddy.
So that's Bastl Kastle 2 Alchemist, a wild musical little buddy for your bag, desk, couch, or studio. It sounds great, and it's way more capable than anything this size should be. And it's incredibly fun. Look at this thing. The MIDI offerings are probably pretty wild too, so check Bastl's vids for more details on that. All you really need is Alchemist and a beat. I was just jamming for like 45 minutes with this thing. I think it's because of the way that you generate melodies on this. It's really fun to bounce back and forth between melodies and like timbral kind of modulation stuff. Being able to limit your notes to like very few or open that back up to have many, very fun. Honestly, it has the key ingredients to the things that I usually use in Modular. Thanks so much to Bastl for sending Alchemist to me and including me in this launch. It's been a lot of fun and did not disappoint. I've really been looking forward to whatever the oscillator firmware was going to be for the Kastle 2 since FX Wizard. That's just because it's a workflow that I know really well, and this is a fun little package to experiment with. But that just goes to show, trust your interests and find the fun. This is my favorite Kastle so far. If a synth doesn't quite work for you, it might be because you haven't figured out all the key things of that synth yet. There's definitely lots to learn getting comfy with new gear or ideas. And sometimes the gear just isn't quite right for you. And why fight it? There's so much room to learn and grow, but also sometimes you just have your favorite things. This is just fun. Battery power too. This video might have seemed a little bit less in depth or involved, and that's because I'm moving. And yeah, there's so much to do, especially with kiddos. So as life goes through changes, in a couple of videos, this room will also be different. I think I'm gonna have about 2 feet more space like this way, which is kind of cool. I mean, this room is awesome and I've made it what it is over time, but it's still like part storage, part office, part studio. I'm looking forward to having a little bit more of a dedicated space. So yeah, I'll be working on that quite a bit and making a nice little space to continue making these videos. And of course, jamming with my modular groove box here. So yeah, make sure to like and subscribe if you want to see more from me. I do videos about modular stuff mostly and try to keep it fun and, you know, musical. There's links down in the description for my Patreon and buy me a coffee if you wanted to support me that way. Any support is greatly appreciated. Lessons are still ongoing, though I might pause them a little bit as I'm, changing spaces. But definitely get in touch if you're considering lessons, and we can at least chat and see if there's things that I can do to help you along your modular journey. Well, that's me. Remember, find the fun, and happy patching.